In a quiet suburban neighborhood in Arizona, the sun was setting over rows of neat houses and manicured lawns. Life seemed peaceful, almost perfect, but behind closed doors, tension simmered. A young man, ambitious and eager to maintain harmony in his marriage, found himself at a moral crossroads. His elderly father, once the pillar of the family, had become a source of subtle friction with his wife. One evening, after a particularly tense argument over the father's presence in their home, the young man made a decision that would weigh heavily on his conscience. He asked his father to leave. The father, though heartbroken, nodded quietly and packed a few belongings. There was no anger in his eyes, only deep sadness and quiet resignation. He had devoted his life to raising his son and providing stability for the family, and now he was being asked to step aside. As he walked down the familiar driveway for the last time, memories of laughter, lessons, and sacrifices played in his mind. The son watched him leave, a strange mixture of relief and unease settling over him, unaware that the real lesson was only beginning. That night, the young man sat alone in the living room, the silence of the house pressing in around him. The shadows cast by the dim light seemed heavier than usual, as if the walls themselves were judging his actions. He tried to rationalize his choice, convincing himself that it was for the good of his marriage. Yet, every time he closed his eyes, he saw his father's quiet disappointment and felt the ache of a bond that had been broken in a single moment. Guilt began to creep in, small but insistent, refusing to be ignored. In his solitude, his mind wandered back to words he had read years ago from the teachings of Jesus. "Honor your father and mother," he whispered to himself, almost incredulously. How could he reconcile this commandment with the actions he had just taken? The message seemed simple, yet its weight now pressed on him with unbearable clarity. He realized that pleasing his wife or